Hi, welcome back to yet another pod. We're back. I had a bunch of laundry that needed to be done. I had a bunch of songs that had come out that I hadn't graced the world with my opinion on. So I did a little bit of catch up, put out those. I appreciate all the support on those videos. Reviewed some Marias, some Cage the Elephant, Rainbow Kitten Surprise, Synopsis, hype. Very excited for the month of May. May is coming up all May. That was a joke I made before, and I'm sticking to it because I feel like it's a funny joke. So let's jump into the updates. As far as the tank goes, not a lot to say. As far as birding goes, not a lot to say, so we're out of the way with that. But when it comes to fishing, I believe I'm growing into quite the angler. Have I caught any fish? No. Have I had a lot of fun? Absolutely I have. It's been a fantastic time. Last week, in fact, we went to Santee Lakes. I'd never really been to Santee Lakes, but I hear that there's fish there. So I was like, all right, let's see what's up. We probably chose the worst day to go fishing because it was pouring rain and then it was also windy. So there was no way that we could avoid the rain. Even if you're under this bridge that they have there, the wind was catching the rain and just pouring it right into my eye holes. You know when the rain goes in your eyes, it's just not a good look. But I wanted to feel like I was on one of those big boats in The Deadliest Catch, but not on the boat. And just like, have the wind and the rain pouring on me, feel like a real fisherman. And so I did. And I cast and I cast and I cast and I caught quite a bit of seaweed, grass, whatever it is that was in the lake. I caught a lot of that. I caught probably about 20 pounds of that, but 0 pounds of fish. There was a man who did catch a fish. So I was relieved to realize that there are fish in said lake. However, none of those fish loved me. We tried hot dogs as our bait. Not the move. Not the move. I was probably putting them on the hook incorrectly because every time I would fling out my line, the hot dog would be behind me on the ground because it flung on off. I feel like I have casting down. I feel good about that. I've got a couple lures now. So the rig is sort of set up, I'd say. Now it comes down to sorting out which fish I want to catch and then getting bait specifically for said fish. So it's a journey. When I do catch that first fish, whew, boy, is it going to feel good. I think I've only caught one fish my entire life. I've never had luck fishing, but I'm determined to hook a fish right in the mouth. And you can live vicariously through me and stay at home instead of being out in the rain like a dum-dum. I told you that I was watching Avatar, the live action on Netflix. I think we got to episode 5 or 6 and I've just given up. It makes me hate Avatar. It makes me not like Avatar at all as a property. So I needed to stop. I did really like the original. So I want to preserve that in my mind. So I had to stop. But apparently it's been renewed for season 2 and 3. People probably just watched out of curiosity and they're just looking at analytics and they're like, okay, we're going to make it again. So I hope that they do take the criticism. I think that there's a lot of potential if they do listen to the criticism and they can make season 2 fantastic. Don't know how season 1 ends. I'll probably watch it when season 2 comes out just to know what's going on, even though I know what's going on. But yeah, it was really disheartening. So I had to give up. I assume it doesn't get any better. It probably doesn't. I watched a YouTube video by Drew Gooden. You probably know who that is. If you don't, you should check out his channel. He is fantastic. He goes into a lot of deep thought as far as Avatar goes and the original versus the live action. I feel like the video really put what I was feeling into words rather than making a video all on my own. I recommend you just go and watch his video. Now, there's been a revival of something from my childhood, which I hold extremely dearly, and that's X-Men 97. Boy, I watched the first 2 episodes. I'm going to watch the 3rd one as soon as we're done with this. And it just picks up exactly where the other season ended. And there's not a huge time jump or anything. It's just we're picking up with the same characters, voiced by most of the same actors. So it feels the same. It just feels like it's been remastered and restored. And I'm kind of here for it. I'm not kind of here for it. I'm all the way here for it. I'm so excited. I'm on the edge of my seat with every single episode. And I love the direction that it's going in because it is not what I would expect at all. Magneto's running Xavier's school now? What? What is going on? I'm all the way here for it. When the whole thing is done, maybe we'll chat about it a little bit more. But if you watched X-Men 97 as a kid or have seen it at all, I would recommend this. This feels like the exact same thing. Like I said, just a little bit remastered. It is fantastic to this point. I love the direction the story's going. I'm hyped for it. I'm all the way here for it. And I feel like it's difficult to take a show that is, 20, 30 years old and just pick it up and keep going and improve on it. Marvel Animation's got something going there. Kudos, because Marvel has been putting out really bad things. So kudos to Marvel for protecting my X-Men to this point. Like I said, I haven't seen the episode after the first two, so maybe they make it really, really bad, but I highly doubt it with the direction it feels like it's going. I have to say that the X-Men cartoon 100% is my favorite cartoon from growing up. The only other thing I'd really watch is Power Rangers, but that X-Men cartoon introduced me to all these really cool characters and stuff. I was a little young when it did come out, but my siblings are 10 years older than me for the most part. And so I kind of grew up watching it with them. And so it just brings back the good memories. Pretending to be Cyclops or pretending to be Wolverine, Nightcrawler. Also Nightcrawler, so sick. I need him in this next episode. If he's not in the next episode, I might scream. But yeah, it just brings back a lot of nostalgia. I think that this is one of the very few times that I've fallen victim to nostalgia, and I'm here for it. I understand why they do it. I took the bait, unlike the fish when I cast my line into the water. I love how I tied that together. Fisherman's knot. Dang, I'm kind of on fire with these jokes today. They're pretty subtle, but I'm kind of on fire with them. I'm not going to lie to you. Would recommend X-Men 97. Now, I think it's time we address the elephant in the room. And that's this beautiful Seattle Mariners jersey. Because this week, we have opening day for baseball. The new baseball season started. Last year, I don't know if I said it on the internet, but I said to myself and to a few other people, I was going to watch 50 baseball games. And by golly, I did. And I'm kind of into baseball. Not as much as football. Football will always have my heart. I could tell you every player on every team, pretty much. Well, once all this free agency comes to a close, then I could really help you out once the draft's over. But baseball is so much fun. I really do like the rule changes. I know that some people are kind of iffy about that, those purists. I feel like it makes the game so much faster and more entertaining, especially when you're watching it on TV. And I feel like that's what most people say. They're like, I don't watch baseball on TV, but I like to go to the games. But I feel like with the rule changes last year, the pitch clock and the bases being a little bit bigger for more steals, and I think there's a few other things, I really feel like it brought the entertainment value up, because I'm not going into a game, watching it on TV, and knowing that I'm going to lose 4+ hours of my life. Now it's like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. That's great. That's shorter than a football game. It's fantastic. I really do like how in baseball there isn't as many commercials as there are in football. It's like between innings you get a little bit of commercials. It's like, okay, I gotta pee anyway. That was a long inning, or that was a short inning. I like the flow of it, and I feel like this just really brings that entertainment value up. I don't see it rivaling the NFL anytime soon, but I could see, baseball being made fantastic once again. I'm hoping the Mariners can make the playoffs. I would love for them to go to the World Series. I mean, every baseball fan wants their team to go to the World Series. As Mariners fans, we've never been to the World Series. And, being a boy, just a young boy, a young lad from Northern California, you may ask, why? Why are you a Mariners fan? A little anecdote for you. When I turned 18, me and my boy Christian, shout out, he's been watching the videos. Shout out to Christian. He's the man. We love him. He's the best. You should also watch his YouTube videos, and you should check him out on social media, because he's always out on the lake, on the water, outside with that GoPro. Anywho, Christian and I, we decided we were going to go on our first adult vacation. So we rented a hotel in SeaTac, Washington, and drove my Scion XB all the way up. And we cruised around Seattle, and it was like my first adult vacation. And it was just like such a really fun time that we had. I think he injured himself at some point, so he's limping around. It was a great time. It's a core memory for me. I wanted to take a piece of that and bring it in to my life on a more frequent basis, if that makes any sense. So when I was choosing a baseball team, I was like, where's a place that I love? Okay, Seattle Mariners. So then I looked into them. You got Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr., both hitting home runs back to back in the same game. Never happened before, probably will never happen again. I was all the way in. Ken Griffey Jr., that's my boy. Favorite baseball player of all time. Absolutely. Love Barry Bonds too. He's pretty dope. But Ichiro, Lots of great Mariners over the years. I'm going to do an ingest. Randy Johnson? Whew. So that's kind of why I chose the Mariners. So I also chose them keeping in mind that they had never been to the World Series because I wanted to be a part of a fan base where they had never won a championship and you get to celebrate the championship with the rest of the city. So I would say probably for the last 6 years, maybe 7 years, been a Mariners fan. Now I feel like I'm a diehard Mariners fan. So shout out to the city. Shout out to Cal Raleigh. Yeah, we're about it. We're gonna go to the World Series. We're gonna win it all. We're gonna win it all. I couldn't think of a good segue for my next topic like I have for this entire video. So I guess the fire's gone. But I got zoo passes this week for the San Diego Zoo. My life has changed. If I'm just looking to go kill time and be outside, I'm going to the zoo. Going to the zoo. Go hang out with the hippos. Also, the hippos, they have baby hippos right now. Probably the highlight of the time that I went this week was the hippos. I have a zoo vlog coming out next week, so excited to share that with you. All the cute and crazy animals that I saw. And I don't want to give too much away, so we'll just leave it at that. Okay, it is time for our favorite segment, Discover Weekly Top 5. The first on the list, we have Everything Under the Sun by Waylon Wyatt. Big Zach Bryan vibes. It's like folky country. I think that as I re-listened to the songs that I selected for this week, I must have been in a certain mood because I feel like you can put all these songs into one playlist, but you should definitely check out Waylon Wyatt. Okay, so next up we have Tiger Lilies featuring Lloyd Buchanan by Sun on Shade. This is like mad hosier vibes. Is that how you say it? Hosier? I feel like with all three of those pronunciations, I covered that name. You know, the Take Me to Church, that song. That is the vocalist for this sounds very similar. So if you like that band, you probably will like this song. It just feels good. I feel as if the lead singer has a unique voice. And I think that it's nice. It's a nice change up because with a lot of pop music and a lot of indie music, you kind of get the same tones and the same vibes. This one wakes you up out of there. It definitely evanescences you. It doesn't sound like that at all, but it wakes me up inside. Next up, we have Cocaine Country Dancing by Paul Cauthen. One of those pronunciations I promise is correct. Now, this is probably the most country song that I've liked in a while. And I think objectively, it is probably not the best, if I'm being honest. But I can't explain it. I think you need to listen for yourself. There's just something in there that just gets me going. I feel like I'm riding a horse. I'm in Red Dead. I'm back to being John Marston, and I'm just cruising. I'm about to go get some outlaws who did me wrong. If you haven't played Red Dead, then that probably doesn't mean much to you. But it's. I think this song is solid. I am surprised that I like it. I think that a year and a half ago, I would have just skipped this song immediately, but I find the merit in it. Next up, we have Smokin' a Light by Ol' 60. I just am in a country mood this week, and this, fantastic. This makes me want to roll my windows down and cruise, if you know what I mean, and just have a toothpick in my mouth as I drive down the 101 because I live in Southern California. This is a good song. I would highly recommend it. It has a good groove to it. Vocals are great. Check it out. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have Trick to Be Happy by Bahamas. This song definitely feels vintage, if that makes sense. I think that there's like old songs and there's like new songs that feel old, and I would just call it like vintage. There's probably a genre name for that. I'm just not privy to it. It's like if Kurt Weill did soft rock from the 80s. That is what it feels like. That feels like a crazy combination. The vocal performance also has big Jack Johnson vibes. I believe that's the artist who does Upside Down. It was the Curious George song from that Curious George cartoon from a very long time ago. Don't know why that's locked in my brain, but the way that Kurt Weill kind of breaks up how he sings the lyrics, but with that vocal sound. So it's interesting. This Discovered Weekly is definitely, I guess, a mixed bag. Now, I thought it was all similar, but I guess it's a mixed bag. I would recommend checking out these songs. They're fun. They might lead you to an artist that you like. If you did make it to the end of this podcast, I appreciate you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And I will see you in the next one.